Hi, everybody. This is Jean, and today I am pretty excited because I get to talk about color inspiration to design. It's one of my very, very favorite things to do. And for me, um, I usually work off of an inspirational photograph, whether it be something out of a magazine or something I take myself, or maybe I see. Um, a great advertisement and I like the colors. And then what I try to do is be a bit of a detective and really take a look at what I'm seeing. And you're going to see a picture of a quilt called Provence. And with that quilt, you can see in my journal where I took colored pencils and identified the different colors. But I also thought about how much blue is there, how much green is there in proportion to the other colors, because I wanted to capture that feeling of what I saw in the photograph. When you look at the quilt, you can see it pretty much follows the same proportions, mostly blues and greens, and then the reds and the oranges are more accents. So I have found in my years of teaching that what works well for me is to talk about how you work with color. And I find there are vocabulary words that we use when we're designing quilts. And you think about what you saw in the picture is are the colors mostly warm or are they more on the cool side? So I think about temperature of what the colors are. I think about value, and value is the lightness and darkness of a color. And value really does the work, color gets the credit. And I'm sure you've heard that before, but you have to have some differences in value in order for you to be able to see the different areas in the quilt. I have found that this color card deck that Joan Wolfram just put out is really full of some wonderful cards that you can take out and play with. And you don't have to have your colored pencils, you can use those cards. And what you will find, though, when you actually go to the fabric shop, if you're wanting to find a particular color, that not every store is going to have every color, or every website is going to have every color, and that a lot of times you may have to go a little brighter, duller, lighter, or darker in order to capture the mood that you want to. So it's really hard to go from paper sometimes to the actual fabrics. And I'm speaking from the voice of experience, having had the quilt shop for 50 years, because I've seen people struggle with that. So we always try to help them out and make some suggestions to them. Um, One of the other quilts you're going to see is one I just finished. It's a log cabin quilt, and my inspiration for the colors in it came from a photograph I had. And when I first picked the palette for the quilt, I just had the purples and the red violets and the greens. And as I had them laid out, there was something missing. And I made myself go back and look at the photograph again, and there were bits of yellow and a little bit of orange. And so, what I tried to do when I made the quilt was to use little skinny lines of yellows and oranges here and there to mimic what I was seeing in the photograph. And if you um, look at a lot of the products that are out on the market that deal with color, They will suggest different color theories. And I have found color theories are great if you've never worked with color, but once you've had some experience, it's almost like your color theories you make up from your photograph. I would say this is double complementary. Reds and greens are opposite on the color wheel, and yellow and purple are opposite on the color wheel. So if we got really technical, it's double complementary. I just like what happened from my photograph. Now, some other things to think about is contrast. And when you think about color, when you add white to a color, it gets lighter. And as you start adding black, it'll get darker and deeper. And that kind of contrast is important when you're picking your fabrics so that some of them can really show, others need to be almost like a foundation. They hold up the brighter ones. I think Kay Fassett is a master with color. When you look at his large printed floral fabrics, there's almost always a dull. Now, another thing I think about it is intensity, which is the dull and the bright. And I think when you look at the log cabin quilt, you really see the intensity changes in that. Complementary colors are colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. And you can see from the photograph that was taken of 2 pages in my journal that I keep, where I made my own color wheel with scraps of fabric. And then I did the essential information, which is my color vocabulary words. And the contrast of each is what is important to remember when you're working with color. When you're thinking about color, I find whether we're just going on a road trip someplace or we're going on a big vacation and flying someplace, when you go to a new environment where the colors are different than what you live with, a lot of times it opens your eyes to new possibilities. I take lots of pictures, and you will see several pictures that I took when we were in Morocco, and some close-up ones, as well as ones that were outside. And I found that when I came home from doing Val's creative retreats, I was just full of color ideas of what I might do because I experienced something I had never seen before. So travel is great inspiration for you too. And I would suggest that you use some of these tools just as a foundation for you. And the little mini color wheel is great because inside, when you take it out, the colors are organized from by value. And you see the pure color, the shades, and that means black has been added to a shade. A tone is pure color with a little bit of gray, and a tint is a pure color with a little bit of white. And I find that this small little color wheel that is just small enough that it can go in your purse is perfect for trying to figure out what you want to do or get some ideas. So hopefully this has been helpful to you.